February 17th, 2023 is the day that we expect to hear the world roar as we jump into Wild Hearts. If you are not familiar with what Wild Hearts is, it is an upcoming action RPG hunter game where we will be able to go into the feudal region of fantasy called Azuma, and within Azuma there is the central city of Minato and the surrounding 4 different regions that are based on different seasons. You have spring, which is pretty much a dense and beautiful forest surrounded by a cherry tree. Summer, it's a secluded island where it has beautiful plants and wildlife and is very lush with vegetation. The fall, which is the major piece that we've seen in a lot of the videos that have come out, and it's got the fallen leaves with the fallen like castle like fortress with ruins in the background. And then you have winter, which is going to be like a large castle with fallen elements around it and snow and everything, and it looks really cool. I'm really excited about that. The city of Minato is going to be the location where you pretty much go after your hunt, where you spend most of the time there as your story hub. You're going to go there to do all your building, your collecting, go through your variety of side quests, and etc. The hunting and the battles among the kimono. The kimono are the large monsters that are nature infused that we will face in Wild Hearts. They are all different beasts that are fused with different aspects of nature. Again, I reference how in Princess Mononoke, if you have not seen it, those beasts in that movie actually were fused by nature itself, because that was the story, where the attacks will have different elemental damage, different effects, so you're going to have to go in with different weapons. And you see how it's starting to very similar to another hunter game that we know. Great. I know at this time, throughout all of the videos and all of the hands-on gameplay that we've seen, you have the Ice Wolf, aka the Death Stalker, Lava Back, which is a fire gorilla, and these all sound super cool to fight against. You have Rage Tail, which is a flower rat, Scap Scourge, which is going to be like a sap tanuki, King Tusk, which is the tree boar, Earthbreaker, which is the rock bear, and then we have a hawk kimono as well. So those are some of the ones that we've seen. Those are other ones that people got to actually experience and see firsthand in the private press hands-on event. So throughout the hunting grounds, that's where we're going to find all of the kimono that are going to be roaming there. And then you might have some where you're looking for a specific chance to catch 1, maybe 2, but they are territorial creatures and they wander minding their own business. But when the chance comes up to fight one for an encounter, you will have that opportunity to do so. But you do not want to be in the face of an enraged kimono. They are the ones when once you lower them past their health at a certain threshold, that's when they become enraged and things start to hit the fan. New powerful attacks, certain body parts may begin to crack and glow with different energy types that are out there where they're going to change shape completely, and then at the time it's going to be either you got to take them down or get taken down. In the trailer we actually saw the King Tusk themselves. Their horn, their tusk if you will, came out into a red glowing lava form fashion, and at that time it was pretty cool to see. So I don't know if we're going to be able to see them in mid transformation, mid fight, or if it's going to be like a cutscene type of thing, but the fact that they can go through different variations from what you fight to be much stronger each time you go back to fight a new one or a variation of one, or even again in mid-fight, is really cool. And I can't wait to see what more they have, because you know, like the Rage Tail seems like, oh yeah, we could take the Rage Tail on, no big deal, it's just a Rage Tail, it's a flower rat, boop boo. And then to see the variations on where that thing goes as it levels up could be mind-blowing. I can't wait to hear about it. I can't wait to see it for sure. Multiplayer, I know that multiplayer you can team up with an additional 3 people, so again 4-person total, and then you go to the camp where you group up and you can play through the entire campaign together. It's got a full story, cutscenes, and side quests. And again, I go back to the same fact that you can go through the cutscenes. You don't have to sit there and wait for people to finish them. Oh, such a quality of life change. You can loot and gather in all of the instances. There's no need for any player to rush to pick up things. The loot rolls are going to be unique to each player. That's going to be super cool, so you don't have to worry about fighting for loot. I know some games out there where you're trying to get your loot, you're trying to get what you want, and then you got to fight with the team to get the things that you want. So that's good to know that they're going to have that, where the people that you're partied up with will allow you to get your own loot. Matchmaking, I think that's going to work basically off of the map. You're going to go through select icons throughout the place, and then you're going to select what you want to hunt, and then it's going to bring you all in there. The hunter gates are where you can interact with the environment. The gates will show you the list of players online, and then you can choose to select one if you want to just join in on the hunt. So it's like drop in, drop out type of thing as well. And again, I already made a separate video about this, but crossplay is a thing. It is official. I know if you found my channel from the first video I covered on Wild Hearts, I said I pretty much hope that it's going to have crossplay. I needed to have crossplay. So yes, it does have crossplay, which is an amazing and beautiful thing. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my God. The combat looks really cool as well because they have the different weapons that you can use. I think right now, last thing I checked, there were 8 different unique weapons out there for all different play styles. You have the katana, you have the bow, you have the bladed wagasa, which is aka like the weapon umbrella. You have the maul, which is like a hammer. You have the nodachi, which is like a long staff blade, and then you have the staff, which can transform itself into 5 different weapon types. So that way you can kind of mix and match and go through. I know as people were playing Monster Hunter, what they were doing at the time was they would pick their main thing, and then after they got to the point where they mastered it full, they would then switch up and try new ones. And to know that they have at least the 8 for now, hopefully we get like another maybe 8 to add in 16. I don't know if it's too much. I know people will let me know like that's too many. You know, I'm just saying variety is always going to be king or queen of the game in the situation. Each weapon is going to have their own unique combo tree, so you can pull off different special attacks, devastating attack along the way, with unique finishing moves to use on the kimono as a killing strike. Now, when I heard about that, what I instantly think of is one of my favorite things in games in general. It was something I really wish I would have had more of in Ghost of Tsushima, but like legit finishing moves. Whenever I have a game where combat's involved, I love having the ability to set up really cool cinematic style finishers. It's super cool, super fun. It's always been a great thing. One of my favorite times of using animations like that was Halo Reach, where you were able to do that one of the first times in like a Halo game. It was super amazing. I had such a great time with it. The weapons will also have a different reaction, different than the Karakuri. So make sure you test those out, train yourself, see which ones you like, which ones you don't like, which ones are going to be best to use. You know how. We're also going to have equipment in the game as well, from your head to your upper body to your lower body to your footwear. There's going to be a variety of armor sets that you can choose to use, and it will allow you to upgrade those, unlocking more options as you slay more kimono, gain more access to the materials, where then you can craft those things and put them all together for the best benefit you have and how you want to play the game. Your equipment will not only alter your health and your defensive stats, but it also can help with, like weaknesses and elemental stats as well. When you're going out there and you're trying to fight things, you want to learn what you can be resistant to and what could be beneficial for you in your fights along the way. The armor that can be stronger, it may not be stronger if you're taking a lot of damage from a certain attack. So then again, you want to be smart with your positioning in your fights. You want to be smart with the damage you do take, because sometimes you may have to sacrifice for a blow or two, and sometimes you may not. You want to actually get out the way, dodge, roll, bob and weave. I love the fact that you can adjust the look of them as well. So if you want to have a more modern look where it looks not as bestial, you can do that. But if you want to go more like Savage Hunter style, where everything looks like you've taken it from the kimono itself, you can do that. There will be like a transmog system too, where you can style your outfit in any way, shape or form while retaining the stats of other armor. So that way, if you do have a really solid armor set that you like and you're like, this fits my play style through and through, I got the damage, the stamina, whatever the applicable attributes are, you can transmog that armor to look like the one that you want. That is really, really cool. That was one of my favorite things I loved about Destiny, was that I could get the armor that I needed as far as what I need for that mission, but I could still go back to the look that I wanted to have. And everybody that plays a game like this would love to have their own unique look at the end of the day, 100%. You can also upgrade your gear. So that's when you go to the forge, or you create a new forge where you can then upgrade your weapons and your equipment. And as you craft to upgrade your equipment, it's going to require that you have the necessary amount of material in order to pull off that creation. Weapons that you upgrade will also have some skills that are inherent and inherited. An inherent skill is one where basically it's applicable to the weapon, so when it's in its current form. And if you upgrade that weapon further or choose to downgrade it, it will then lose that inherent skill. An inherited skill is one that will always be accessible as a potential skill to have you equipped as you upgrade the weapon. So basically, in the event where you are removing the signature move from that weapon by upgrading it, but then there's going to be another move that's like a bloodline move, like how in Naruto they have the Kekkei Genkai. Those moves are always going to be there as latent things that you can unlock for better potential along the way. So that means basically if you split the upgrade path and one upgrades health and the other one will upgrade how fast you dash or roll or attack, then you upgrade into one. Then you upgrade into the other. Your new weapon can have both inherited skills. So that's really cool as well. Now, one of the other dope things that I really like, and I really felt like with the Neo creation system for a character, they did a really solid job. There's going to be full character creation in the game, so you get to create the most unique version of character that you want, however you want your character to look. I just hope that they have enough representation out there for everybody that wants to play the game, from hairstyles to body styles to everything like that. I'm pretty sure body styles are something I feel like they miss on. Like I always get you want us to be all sleek and slender running around, but if I want to roll around looking like Choji from Naruto, let me roll around looking like Choji from Naruto. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that would be really cool if more games like that gave you the option to do so. Because I know like in Elden Ring, you put on the armor and you'd be like a big bulky person, but you couldn't really make yourself a big bulky person and then you'd be running around like that. So it'd be really cool just to kind of see that kind of dynamic. There are tools in the game of Wild Hearts that you can use where you build certain things that you can use as tools in your battle and everyday travel and your everyday quality of life, movement around the map and everything like that. Like basically they call them the karakuri. It allows you to get the edge in battle so that you can better traverse the land and explore the world, gather your resources and defeat the Komodo. And the more that you defeat, the more that you unlock, that can give you a better style in your hunting style and your play style. They're going to be forever persistent as well. Like, so they're forever going to be present too. There's not going to be a time where they're going to be locked out or that you can't get them. Like you can leave them behind. They will always find a way to return to you. They'll always be in your inventory for you to be able to use, create special traps, set up a variety of tools that can assist you in, like I said, traversing or traveling and defeating Komodo. And any player using this world will also be able to see and use what you've placed down as well. That's really cool. That's like a it's like a management way. I like that. That's adding a different layer to where you set up traps basically where you know where these monsters normally roam, or you guess they're going to roam or think they're going to roam. You can set up stuff there so that way when you go back to actually try to hunt them, it's already there waiting on you, or you take a different approach in how you did it last time and want to set those up. That's actually pretty dope. Some of the tools out there that have presented themselves to be useful for a lot of people have been the crate. The crate are what you use to build up so that you can climb off of them to get away from danger, or to jump and do a devastating aerial attack to like crack them in the top of the head. You have the spring, which can boost you quickly. You know, that's good for a getaway or just to kind of give you a better increase in speed across the map. Sometimes we hate running. I know if they don't have mounts in the game, it's gonna be like, oh, I need to run. That's another thing. I don't know if there's mounts in the game. I know Rise gave us one. I know in World we didn't get one in Monster Hunter World, so I need to know that. But I don't think if we have the mounts, they're gonna give us something like a glider. So I think that could work too, but it just depends on like what tools you have, if they're gonna let wind be a factor, who knows, right? The torch, you're gonna use that to light the dark areas when you're hunting. I don't know if they're gonna give us time to hunt at night or if it's throughout the day, if it's a full day cycle that we can actually be out there and participate in. Really cool. And potentially probably going into like caves or something like that as well. And then, oh, yep, so you do have a glider. I keep remembering now, you do have a glider. The glider is going to be what you use to lift you off the ground and make traveling across some of those dangerous terrains or to get to safe areas. That way you're not going into the water and being caught by some gigantic McGilligan monster that's ready to eat your face off. And then you also have a feeding trap. You can use that to lure in the kimono, where you can set up the trap and use that to get the extra jump on them to take them out and get the hunt going. Karakuri threads are what you're going to use as these items that spin, that allow you to chopping down trees, mining rocks throughout the world. You can also harvest them off of the monsters and even slowly gather them while you deal damage to the kimono. That's going to allow you to spend those items to get the karakuri that you can use in combat as well. Dragon karakuri is another one that's going to be placed specifically throughout the world. These take more time to place down and build, and they aren't really linked to combat, but they will have a variety of positive effects in the overworld. So I know in the trailer they showed like the zip line, so that way you can use that to kind of get across as well. Again, a lot of really cool things added in for traversal techniques and abilities to get away. Tent is another one where you can change the time of day. So I need to go at night to gather this certain resource, or you need to fight this certain monster at this certain time, you would use tent for that. Fireplaces where you can probably use it to cook your food, to kind of remove some of the damages that may have happened to you, illnesses, and also to gain health. You have a drying rack. That's going to be for pretty much when you're swimming out there. If you're getting super wet, clothes are actually used in a different way. You can dry stuff. It's going to probably be to dry out some of the food or meat that you can then put away, because they may have two different states of food, where one is like fresh and one is dried or something of that nature. The forge is where you're going to be able to craft your weapons and your equipment. The hunting tower is where you can see the silhouettes of the kimono. You will have a quest associated to a certain one. You would then use that and you can start telling the difference between which one is which along the way, so you're not not chasing off to the wrong one on the right when you need to go far on the left. And then paddle scoop, that's going to be one where you create it by a body of water. It's going to be scooping out the water for fish and other materials that you need to farm for resources. I don't know what the function is going to be for like the cosmetic ones, the cosmetic category. They have a variety of them, such as like lanterns and benches. I'm pretty sure it's going to be used to decorate your hunting ground, to make sure you can have it look the way you want it to look, the way you have it styled, the way you want to have it styled. Then you have the combo ones where you can kind of put 2 and 2 together, and these are going to be built in the field, and you can't really like deploy these without having them turn out in a situation for your favor. But you have a wall, so during your first fight with the King Tusk, you can use that to combine 6 crates, which then becomes a reinforced wall. So get your Fortnite on out there. It is used where you can climb up on it, but it also can block and probably stun a charging enemy. So those enemies that may roll and dodge at you, or just full on charge at you to pierce through whatever you have going on, that's a really great item to use in the form of that nature. Giant hammer. Now see, that's going to be great because again, if you find something where you know the pattern of the enemy, you can set these things up like that to then bam, stun them and give you a chance to do more damage. That's really nice. Feeding trap, we already know that's going to be to lure them out, lure them in when they're being stinky butts and they don't want to come near you, and you got to keep chasing them around. The flare, you combine 3 torches and you can use that to stun a kimono or knock flying foes out of the air. So if you got a flying one and you're trying to get them out of the air, you could have one of the persons use the flare to knock them down, use the hammer, start combining and putting things together. I think that's going to make for some really great content, really cool things to see what people do out there. And then of course the bomb, we know how the bomb works. You get somebody and you don't want to take anything back, you want to just get them and slay them, use the bomb, boom, they're gone, done deal. But those are pretty much the details that I have as far as it goes with Wild Hearts for the current time. I will be covering more of this because I'm super excited about this game, and I hope that everybody else out there is willing to give this game a chance, and I can't wait to hear more news and more details about it as we get closer and closer to February 17th, 2023. That being said, be great, be you, fly as a hero. Till next time, peace.